Hey guys, thank you so much for donating your time to help cut fabric. I really can't believe that this is where we are right now, but I've gotten, since I posted that we were going to be making masks, I've gotten 3 people who work in hospitals who have reached out to me seriously asking for masks. They are telling me someone in shop said that they have about 2 weeks worth of supply left. Some people need them right now, and we don't know when they're gonna get the relief that they're gonna need. So I'm just gonna try and bang out as many as I can, and the fact that you're helping me cut this is just really, really helpful. So some of you I gave fabric to, and some you said you had fabric, and I'm gonna tell you what's the best type of fabric to use and how to check to see the fiber content. So I had a couple rolls. Some things that you can use in your house that are really good fabrics: dish towels, bedspreads, they're all antimicrobial, usually cottons. T-shirts are good, but knits are really hard to sew on non-knit sewing machines. So I'm looking specifically for woven fabrics, woven meaning does not stretch. And an easy way to test your fiber content of your material is to do a burn test. Now, if you are one of my tweens or teens, do not do this without your parent. An easy way to tell what the fiber content of a fabric is just pull a couple strands and you burn it. So this is checking to see the fiber content. So really simple. If it is a natural fiber, it will turn into ash and go on fire because it's natural. If it melts, it's synthetic, aka plastic. So we're looking for things that burn. They have natural antimicrobial properties, so we're looking for cotton here. Look at that, right up in flames. I'll do that one more time. So all you need is like a little bit right up in flames. So once you have found some type of woven cotton fabric in your house, if you actually have loose fabric like I have, it's gonna be really easy to cut. Otherwise, you're gonna have to find the grain line, which is a little more difficult. If you were using a dish towel or a bedspread, it's really easy because it's a larger sheet of fabric. I would suggest using bedspreads, pillowcases, dish towels are also good. First thing we have to do is talk about grain line and why that's important. So on all of your patterns, I drew the grain line of the pattern. Real simple answer to what that is. When a woven fabric is sewn on a loom, the threads are usually ran from horizontal and then vertical lines. So your vertical lines are your grain line, horizontal lines are your cross grain line. Let's just keep it simple, people. Stick to your grain line and find your cross grain line. So if you're using loose fabric like a bedspread, you don't have a raw edge to help you find the grain line and mark it. So what I want you to do is take that bedspread and usually you cut off all the elastic around it and just give yourself a loose sheet. And then I want you to snip the fabric about 1 inch so you can tear it. And once you tear it, you'll be able to find your grain line, okay? We'll just tear it to find your grain line. So since this is loose fabric, I know my grain line is along my selvage edge, but this also helps you find your cross grain. So look, it does like a really nice line. It's really good to just do this on the floor also. So you want your grain line to be going in the same direction as your selvage edge or the rip grain line that you found. So I'll repeat that. So the grain line is gonna go same direction as your selvage edge or your rip grain line. So I could put the pattern either in this direction, so the grain line, the selvage edge, or I could do in this direction, grain line, rip edge. This is your cross grain, this is your grain, but you can go by either as long as it's in the same direction. So the reason why that is so important is because if you do on cross grain when you're sewing it, it won't lay correctly. If I were to lay this pattern piece crookedly like that, it's gonna stretch, which is not gonna make it lay right on the person's face. So just find your selvage edge or find your rip grain line that you did and just stick with that. And the biggest thing is with each mask, you need to cut four pieces per mask. So stick to doing groups of 4. So I would do 2 in this direction, and I'm calling it the front, just to not confuse people. So as you can see, I did 2 in this direction, 1, 2, and you wanna get them as close as you possibly can to conserve your fabric. So 1, 2, and then I'm gonna flip it for the back, 1, 2. And see how easy it would be to put this off grain? So like, see how the line then is going that direction versus this direction? And I can see it's a little off grain, so I would just center it. I'm hearing that we need more mediums than we do smalls, so I would do more mediums, more larges than smalls. But just keep going and just keep them as close as you possibly can and making sure that the grain line, it gets harder when you're further away from the rip edge, but listen, we'll take whatever we can at this point. We're not gonna be too particular. Just keep it in mind that you want the pattern piece to be as straight as possible. You're gonna use either your selvage edge as a reference point or your rip edge as a reference point. And then when you pattern them or when you trace them out in groups of 4 per size. And I would just, I'm gonna just trace this whole thing and then cut the whole thing. But before that, I kinda wanna give you guys a cutting tutorial. Okay, so cutting tutorial. When you use your scissors, there is a stark difference between fabric scissors and paper scissors, but whatever gets the job done, you'll have a little more like difficult of a time if your scissors are like crappy scissors, but just do the best you can. Okay, so when you're cutting, you wanna do long strides, okay? If you do small little cuts like this, 1, it's gonna take forever, and 2, you're gonna get more jagged edges. So when you cut, you just cut right on that line, long cuts. Okay. See, this is why I need your help, because this stuff takes a really long time. The cutting more than anything. The sewing is super quick. It's this cutting stuff that takes forever. So, long strides. So when you're drawing your fabric, it's kind of like Jenga, you just want to fit them. And honestly, if you just keep everything in a row, you should have minimal waste. So we need 4 pieces per mask. And there we go, we got our pieces.